Of course, it was on Fox News, and for the last several months, he has really picked up the mantle of Bill O'Reilly, and he has been caping for all of the aggrieved white men in America. Well, last night they were having a conversation about Brett Kavanaugh, and this issue came up, and he made this point about the issue of race, and then he decided to bring up the MLK Memorial for some reason. Watch this.
Democrats aren't looking for justice here. They want a revolution. For 60 years, they have been telling us that it is immoral to judge people by their skin color, and they were right about that, absolutely right. They put up a monument to Martin Luther King on the National Mall just in case we forgot.
Okay, I want you to play that again, because I want you to hear it again.
Democrats aren't looking for justice here. They want a revolution. For 60 years, they have been telling us that it is immoral to judge people by their skin color, and they were right about that, absolutely right. They put up a monument to Martin Luther King on the National Mall just in case we forgot.
Really? So, Democrats, white progressives, put up a memorial to Dr. King to remind folks about this issue. Really, Tucker? Are you that idiotic and clueless? Do you even have anybody over at Fox News who has the ability to actually research before you open your mouth? For somebody who is the son of a journalist, somebody who is supposedly so talented and so smart and this amazing writer, it's just stunning how oftentimes you say stuff without any understanding of basic fundamental research. Let me help you out, Tucker. Do you know who actually started the idea of the MLK Memorial? It wasn't Democrats. It wasn't white folks. It was Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the fraternity Dr. King was a member in. In fact, early on, shortly after his death, conversations began about needing some sort of national memorial for Dr. King. But if you look at the Washington Post story from August 25th, 2011, Tucker, you will discover that the idea really began at a dining room table at a home in Silver Spring, Maryland, not far from where you do your show every single night. It was a group of alpha men who sat around the table who said, we should honor Dr. King with a memorial on the National Mall. That's where the idea, Tucker, started. And it didn't just start there. Alphas led that whole effort. Even Harry Johnson, who became the chair of the MLK Memorial Foundation, former general president of Alpha Phi Alpha. The $120 million that was raised, it was led by alphas, bringing in others, other fraternities and sororities, other individuals. That's where it came from. And Tucker, you and your whole aggrieved white male attitude, frankly, it's getting really tiring, because the reality is you have nothing to be aggrieved about. The memorial to Dr. King wasn't even just about Dr. King. The memorial to Dr. King, he served as the symbol of the entire Black freedom movement. Tucker, why don't you actually go listen to his Nobel Prize winning speech, where he said in his speech, he said he accepted the Nobel Peace Prize on behalf of the entire movement. That's what he said. And so when we look at that memorial, it's not just for Dr. King. It's for Fannie Lou Hamer, Septima Clark. It's for Dorothy Cotton. It's for Hosea Williams and Fred Shuttlesworth and Reverend Jackson and Reverend Andrew Young, and E.D. Nixon. And the list goes on and on and on. We could name a litany of civil rights leaders. That's what it's for. It's for those foot soldiers in Selma. It's for the folks who were beaten in Birmingham. It's for those. It's for a white pastor, James Reed, who was killed in Selma. It's for all of those individuals, Tucker, who forced America to be the nation it said it's supposed to be. See, there's a reason, Tucker, it's on the National Mall. Because in America, we hail Abraham Lincoln, and we hail Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and we hail Thomas Jefferson, and we hail all of these figures. But it took Dr. King and others, as he said, to redeem the soul of America, to force America to say, you're going to be the nation in reality that you are on paper. That's why the memorial is there. And see, I know it's rough for guys like you, Tucker. I know it's rough for you to have to drive by every single day and to see this monument to this black man. See, I know it's real difficult because the reality is this here. The monument is a reminder about the reality of race in America. The fact that it is the only memorial to an African American on the National Mall says a hell of a whole lot, Tucker, about America. It is also the only non-president with a memorial. Why is this important? Because, Tucker, guys like you really are uncomfortable with where America is going. Guys like you can't handle that in 25 years, America is going to be a nation that has majority people of color. See, guys like you can't deal with the fact that you won't get to make all of the decisions. See, I know it's tough. I know it's so hard because, I mean, you guys have been in control, right? Man, you've been in control of America for so long. I mean, you ran the Native Americans off of their land. And of course, then you put into place one of the most sadistic slavery institutions the world has ever seen. See, I know it's real tough because even after the Civil War and after Reconstruction, then you put in place Jim Crow, and then you ran that system and you control the monetary policies of America, the political policies. We know that 113 Supreme Court justices, 107 have been white men. See, I know things are just so tough for white men because we've had 45 U.S. presidents and 44 have been white men. See, I know it's just so hard for all you white guys now that you have to give up a few of the Fortune 500 CEO jobs in America because, oh my goodness, how dare somebody say, let's hire a white woman or a black woman or a black man or Latino. See, I know it's just so rough, and you guys don't get to control everything in America like you have done up to this point. But Tucker, guess what? You're going to have to suck it up. You're going to have to deal with the reality. Like I told the white supremacist Richard Spencer, we're not going anywhere. And I know that's hard for you, but you're going to have to deal with it because everywhere you turn, we're going to be there. At the store, at the mall, in your neighborhood, where your kids go to school, and we're also going to be at Fox News. Oh, yeah, more of us are going to be there, too. Because, see, you're not going to be able to survive only talking to white America, Tucker. You're going to have to learn how to talk to the rest of us, the folks who've actually made America be the nation it's supposed to be.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Now, a word from one of our Roland Martin Unfiltered partners. You've heard me say it before, and I will say it again. Write down this website, marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. I'm going to tell you why it matters. Legal marijuana has grown to become a $9 billion industry in roughly 6 years. Forbes magazine predicts the market will continue to grow to nearly $50 billion in the next 10 years. So whether you like it or not, legal marijuana is a growing industry, and it is only going to get bigger. Now, if you're an investor, you get it. You look for business models that are easy to understand in industries that are trending up. Our friends at Transatlantic Real Estate made their business very simple. They buy land that supports legal marijuana operations and lease it to high-paying tenants. So you are investing in the landlord of a licensed marijuana farm. Stop working so hard for your money. Let your money start working for you by investing in the legal cannabis industry. You can invest as little as $300 up to $10,000. But you can't wait. This crowdfunding opportunity is only available for a few more days. They say that you either make things happen, watch things happen, or sit around wondering what happened. Don't be the person watching and wondering. Don't let another investment boom get away from you. It's time to make something happen for you, your finances, and your family. And don't forget my pro tip. To be included, you must complete and confirm your application. And be sure to complete the process. Go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game, folks. Do it now before time runs out. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. Glad to have you here on Roland Martin Unfiltered. So let's get right to it. We'll start, though, not with your book, but with another book. Bob Woodward has dropped his book. Folks are talking about it. And what's interesting is that in his book, he is describing many things that you've also described, that really this place that is in utter chaos, and a president, frankly, who is sort of being treated like a child and leading like one.
Yeah, one of the congressmen referred to the White House as an adult daycare. And I have to say that I wouldn't disagree. There were times that we walked into the Oval and we knew that we were not going to have a productive day because he was in a really bad mood or he saw something that triggered him. He certainly wasn't going to comprehend any of the policies, the briefs that we put in front of him. And so we would just scratch the morning and try in the afternoon. But that's how it was trying to work with this president.
And the fact you describe in your book him being barely literate, not wanting to read documents, having the reading comprehension, if you will, of an 8th or 9th grader.
Yeah, he can read, but reading and comprehension are two different things. And what we quickly realized is if we simplified all of the policies down to a one-pager, created bullets, and made it look appealing, then it would keep his attention long enough for him to get the basics.
And so, but surely as an adult, you're sitting there going, okay, this is the president of the United States. This is the most powerful person in the world. And you're having to handle this person like a middle schooler.
Yeah. But the thing that you think about are the consequences for not having him make those decisions. There are decisions in the White House that only one person in the entire country can make, and that's the president. And so we quickly realized that if he didn't make those decisions, things couldn't move forward. I realize now when Woodward talks about how Rob Porter would remove documents or move documents, why some of the documents had to be auto-pinned. Some things can be auto-pinned, but there were things that needed his signature that we would just wait and delay, which would delay funds, which would delay things going to the Hill, and would delay advancing our agenda.
So, looking at that, your thoughts about the anonymous post or column in the New York Times. Folks are saying that person, if they believe that way, they should just quit. Others say that they are doing a disservice to Trump. He's called it treason. How would you assess that particular, that person who wrote that piece?
I would say that it's very important to have adults in the room. It's important to have people who have had prior service in the government around him. We could all quit and protest. Who would be left to run the government? And a lot of that was what I processed while I was there. You can see that a lot of the administration officials battled with, do we stay and try to right the ship, or do we jump off the side of the ship and just leave it to crash into an iceberg? That's really what we were faced with. And I think that the person who's decided to remain, to stay and try to right the ship, you know, people are going to villainize them. I would say it takes courage to stay in that White House. It is one of the most toxic environments I've ever worked in.
So the question is, why did you even go along with the campaign, go work for him? In the book, you say, during the campaign, you said, he's not a racist, he's racial, and you base that upon how he treated you.
Yeah, 15 years.
Yet, you hear the comments, we hear the Access Hollywood tape, we see how the bullying tactics at rallies. We saw all of that. I've been using the hashtag, we tried to tell you, meaning black folks should try to tell everybody. 94% of black women, 85% of black men did not vote for this man. We tried to tell you. And so Why did you, as somebody who was supporting Hillary Clinton, even go work for him and campaign for him and champion him to be president?
Oh my gosh, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble saying this, but I think you'll appreciate it. I had worked in the Clinton White House, and I hate to use this term, Roland, but I'm just going to use it because it's authentic. I had become desensitized to a president behaving badly because I was in the White House during the impeachment process for Clinton. That's not justifying it. I'm just being transparent. By the time I get to, the experience that I described with the Clintons, as you know, I worked for Ready for Hillary, trying to raise money for her. And what she did with Clinton and all of the black staffers who had been loyal, not hiring them, taking one staffer. By that point, I was disenchanted with the Clintons. And when Donald called and said he needed my help, I thought, what harm would there be to help my friend? And I did describe it clearly in the book as a friend helping a friend.
But did you also think he wasn't going to win? So it was like, what the hell?
I say that. I mean, it's true. I thought there's no way that Donald will beat George Bush, Ted Cruz, Ruby, all these people with tremendous amount of experience, donors, money, messaging, momentum, relationship with the media. I thought, I'll support my friend. We'll have a good time. Donald will go launch his Trump TV, which is what he was going to do if he didn't win.
And so during that, you got black folks who are calling you a sellout, calling you a traitor, who are blasting you, who are saying, how can you work for this man who started his career off being under investigation and being charged by HUD for not wanting to rent to black folks? How did you justify that when you had this whole set of...
Justify the name calling?
No, justify... Still work campaigning on his behalf, going to rallies, saying why he should be elected, why black folks should look forward to him being president.
Because I am of the school of politics that believes that we should have representation on all sides, that we should have someone in the Republican Party, we should have some in the Independent Party, Green Party, the Democratic Party. I do not believe that African Americans should give 100% support to the Democratic Party, or they will be taken for granted,
right,
exploited, and used. So let me ask the second part of your question.
But did you believe it? When you were saying that you believe it, or was it sort of, okay, this is what I got to do?
I was never a Republican. I always said I was a Trumplican, meaning I wanted my friend to win. That's the bottom line. I wanted Donald Trump to win. Now, when you start going back and assessing things that happened with his family, when his family was sued, like you said, for housing, when people started talking about Central Park 5, I had a chance to ask him face-to-face about those things, to listen to his justification.
What did he say?
The first thing, the housing thing, he said they sued my family's company, and they sued multiple companies at the time. It wasn't just a singular lawsuit on Trump. And he explained what happened. He said that he wasn't trying to block out African Americans. I had to take him at that. But Central Park 5, when he explained that to me, if you understood, which I didn't understand, that they had confessed, and so that was when Donald called for the death penalty. I'm justifying, I'm just explaining what he said to me. He said once they confess, that's when he went after them.
But during the campaign, though, when first of all, after they had been exonerated, settlement paid, he was asked, he said, I still stand by it.
That was last year while we were in the White House.
He stood by it,
even with DNA. And I said, are you crazy? There's DNA evidence that shows that they did not do this. And he still said, I believe they were guilty, which is when I came to realize that it wasn't just him processing the information wrong. There was something serious and wrong with Donald Trump.
Do you believe that he flat out, he says things, and part of his attitude is, I will never apologize. I will never backtrack. Yet he loves to demand apologies from other people.
Yeah, Donald Trump never apologizes. That is his MO. That is something that he is committed to in life, that he believes is a sign of weakness, so he will never, ever apologize. So which I think makes him look more weak. It doesn't make him look strong.
So you believe that excerpt in the Bob Woodward book where he says that was the worst effing speech he had to give when he had to criticize the white supremacists and neo-Nazis,
I saw it with my own eyes. When I went in there, I don't know if you remember, we tried to arrange a meeting with Tim Scott. Tim Scott came, and they thought that was enough for race reconciliation after Charlottesville, and I lost it.
Meet with the one black United States
Meet the
Republican
one black,
Senator.
and he really didn't feel that he needed to do any more. He felt like Obama let down the country, which I thought was ridiculous, and not healing all the racial problems in the country in the 8 years that he had. And so I had to take him to task. Of course, I wanted to quit and protest. I was ticked off. And then I realized if I leave, there will be no one sitting here to keep this man in check from those impulses that are so dangerous for our country. And I looked to find one of the black Republicans who were begging to serve, who would be willing to take that position.
But they say you blocked him. Kay James has said you flat out blocked her. Michael Steele's, others. I mean, they say you were the biggest impediment
but
to
they
black
also
Republicans.
say I was weak and I didn't have any power. So you can't have it both ways. Roland, they can't say I was ineffective, I didn't do my job, and I didn't have any clout. And then in the same breath say I had the ability to keep hundreds of black Republicans from coming into the White House. I wasn't the head of presidential personnel. I wasn't the head of HR. But they want to assert that because the truth is the Republican Party has had a bad relationship with black Republicans since still. Remember, they had the black exodus. All the black Republicans quit. Reince Priebus ran against Michael Steele, accused him of stealing.
You say in your book that when you tried to have this meeting in Black History Month,
Reince took their names off. He went through and said he gave me problems. Elroy Saylor gave me problems. Michael Steele gave me problems. When I said, well, appoint Elroy to a position. He said,
Elroy Saylor.
Elroy Saylor.
Elroy Saylor, folks who don't, chief of staff to Congressman J.C. Watts.
He actually said that Elroy would never pass the background. He's got criminal stuff. I mean, this is the stuff that came out of Reince Priebus's mouth, not my mouth. And he had problems with Michael Steele and some of the other black Republicans, but they want to pin it on me. The truth is they had issues. They had a black exodus. All the black Republicans quit because they had beef with the party. That has nothing to do with me.
I want to talk about language. And you say, when he gave a speech, you said, I begged him not to say, what do we have to lose? And also, you people. And you said he never seemed to understand that. He didn't understand that you people and saying the blacks love me, that's a problem.
Yeah, he and other white men in the administration had problems with language and how they communicated with black people. It wasn't because they weren't told, because I corrected him again and again. But he says, well, it's not, I don't mean anything harm. That's just how I've been saying it for 50 years.
When he made his comment about shithole countries, Haiti was one of those countries. You went to Haiti for the inauguration of a new president, and you write, him saying, why did you choose that shitty country as your first foreign trip? You should have waited until the confirmations were done and gone to Scotland and played golf at Turnberry, of course, where he owns. And yet you say you had to remind him, dude, you
campaigned in Miami. We went down there repeatedly, over and over again. We made all these commitments, but not only that, I went down, I made commitments. I went to the country, made commitments to the president of Haiti. So when he started talking negatively about them, of course, those comments came out publicly. It was also my word on the line of saying we were going to do better by Haitians than what the Clintons did. But we didn't. We've let them down. We turned our back on them. And he stopped TPS protections for Haiti. That was one of the primary things that I was fighting for while I was in the administration.
So that was just for show. That was just him talking to a group. I'm going to help you.
No, I believe he wanted to. Once he got in, the Republicans around him shut him down, and they forced their agenda on him. And Donald Trump started to align himself with them. Remember, he wasn't.
But he hasn't changed, though. He hasn't. Even though supposedly he's now more in control, it's not like he's rescinded that Haiti decision. It's still in effect.
It is still in effect, and the same with El Salvador and several other countries. The problem is that because we've decided, and when I say we, black leadership has decided, we're not going to deal with them for 4 years, we'll just see what happens. The problem is they can make decisions about TPS and not get any pushback because no one's going in there to demand that they extend TPS because the conditions in Haiti have not improved for people to return. 40,000 Haitians back to Haiti would completely burden that economy that the president of Haiti is trying to rebuild.
You call Steve Bannon and Stephen Miller alleged racist, but then you go in on Jeff Sessions in his racial history. Do you believe that Jeff Sessions is a racist who does not like people of color?
Yes, absolutely.
And why?
Well, first of all, his track record. I mean, not only has he used words that are inappropriate towards African Americans, but the aggressive ways that he's dismantled civil rights protections in the Justice Department is just mind-blowing. This man has worked to make sure that not only where we talk about justice and civil rights and keeping our inner cities safe and giving the funding so that police and community relations be improved, he's rolled those back so that instead of them improving, they've actually deteriorated. And I would use Chicago as a prime example.
And with that, it's very interesting because this president often loves talking about Chicago.
He does.
Has not gone.
Refuses to go.
Refuses to go. If questioned, where's your plan? There is no plan.
Because he has a beef with Rahm Emanuel. It's really as simple as that. That's why also Puerto Rico's suffering, because he had an argument with the mayor of San Juan.
So damn the people.
These petty arguments are keeping people from getting the help that they need.
So you're saying that the reason for him saying he did a great job in Puerto Rico, we now know up to 3,000 folks died. I mean, just the numbers there are just incredible. More people who died there than died in 9/11. He still says we did a great job.
Yeah, because he thinks that if he says it, then so it's true. He just made a statement: don't believe what you see, only believe what you hear from me. And that's because he has this cult following, a cult of personality that will actually believe the things that are coming out of his mouth.
You talked about the work that you did and what you were and the black folks you were trying to help. One of the big issues, obviously, was HBCUs, and you took lots of fire for that. The presidents went there, the photo they took in the Oval Office, and do you believe that, based upon, again, what you've written here, that was the one area you were able to at least do something while you were there?
I did a lot with HBCUs. One example is getting year-round Pell Grants. The Obama administration decided to cut Pell Grants for the summer. As you know, HBCUs suffer during the summer without having the proper funding. Went to Mick Mulvaney and lobbied and fought for that. And that was one of the things I was most proud of. But also bringing the 100 HBCU students to Washington and allowing them to see government up close and personal firsthand. Mind you, I did that with no staff, Roland. Remember, Valerie Jarrett had 14 people working in her office. She had a fiefdom. I only had an assistant. And so I was able to accomplish these things, not to the great success that I wanted, because I just didn't have the resources, but to the best of my ability. Also
moving the HBCU initiative from Department of Education back into the White House, and I want to deal with Department of Education because you clearly have no love for Betsy DeVos. You accompanied her when she went to Bethune-Cookman and Howard University, and you write that they left you where they were supposed to travel somewhere, and they left early. She told you to call Uber?
She did. She did. We had just faced protesters, and people were very angry and very aggressive and wanted to get violent with us. And yet the next morning, she left early and said, well, just Uber over to the building. And I took an Uber, all right. I took it right to the airport and flew back to the White House.
And then you said you went to the White House and you tell Trump, which you referred to as DJT, you said he shook his head in disgust. He said she is Ditzy DeVos.
Because
that's what he calls her?
Yes, he calls her Ditzy DeVos. First of all, he has nicknames for everybody, derogatory nicknames. And he said he was going to get rid of her because he had basically cut a deal for her to serve because of the amount of money that she and her family have raised to support his efforts and his campaign as well as his inauguration.
But about her, you say the depth and breadth of her ignorance is a travesty for the children. I can tell you after years sitting in those meetings and observing her that she's woefully inadequate and not equipped for her job. And then you said she does not care about your children. Be afraid. Be very, very
Look
afraid.
Look at the decision she just made towards Howard University. Put them in a category that's going to put $108 million burden on an institution that was already struggling. Put them in a classification that's equivalent to a beauty school. I think that that was something that she did being malicious because she wanted to send a message and because she does not understand the historical contributions that HBCUs made to this country.
I said earlier during the campaign you said he's not racist, he's racial. But you've now changed your opinion. What caused the change for you to say, no, Donald Trump is racist?
Oh, well, first of all, hearing the tape of him using the N-word, that's number one, most profoundly.
So you've actually heard the tape of him using the N-word?
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you that I feel that I put myself out there. Hundreds of interviews, you saw them, saying, this is my friend, he's done so much, he's not racist, over and over and over again, only to find out that he absolutely doesn't give a damn about African Americans or the community. And in fact, he speaks that way, calls us names, and thinks that we're beneath him. That, to me, putting myself out there over and over and over again is probably one of my greatest regrets.
So by working on this campaign and then going to the White House, you saw a side of him that you had not seen in the 14 previous years.
Within the first week, when they passed the travel ban, they called it a travel ban, but you and I know it was a Muslim ban. And I went to them to explain, him and Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon, and said, this is a ban towards people of color. And they're like, what? I'm like, 90% of Muslims are people of color. You are banning people of color from coming to the country. And they're like, you can't look at it that way. They're coming from dangerous countries. And I said, this is absolutely ridiculous. And that was the first sign that this administration was going to try to harm people of color through their policies, decisions, and actions.
We talked about it on my show, the number of people who have been removed from this administration who've made racist comments, whether on radio, whether on print. Why do you think folks who are racist are very comfortable in this administration?
They're very comfortable because there is a dog whistle that goes out to let them know it's now safe to say whatever you want to say. Things that used to be said in private and behind the scenes are now openly stated. And then when they get busted, they say, oh, we didn't know that that was harmful. Like saying, don't monkey this up. Ron
DeSantis in Florida.
Yeah, he said, oh, I didn't know that was a racial statement. That's absolutely not true. Donald Trump has set an environment that's conducive for these folks to show their true colors. And their true colors are that they do not care about people of color, and they are not trying to advance any agenda that will build unity in this country.
You're a person of faith. What do you say to white evangelicals, white conservative evangelicals who say nothing, who, when he makes his comments, they do nothing? I've challenged Paula White, and I've said...
You personally challenged?
I challenged her in a commentary. I sent her an email. She said her comment was, when she gave it, she was talking to one of the television shows, and I blasted her. She said the comments were taken out of context. She says, she and I will talk when she got back. I emailed her, and I said, okay, let's do it. And then as we've exchanged, I've texted her and exchanged emails. And my deal to her is I want to sit down. I want her to come sit down with me because for somebody who, frankly, has gained her popularity from preaching to black people, leading a diverse church, an African-American church there in Florida, I believe she owes black folks an explanation as someone who's leading his council. And so...
She is the leading deciding factor on faith in our administration. And, I talk in the book and wonder, why did he put her in a position where she could make these decisions? She literally would come into our office in the Office of Public Liaison and tell Ginny Corn and other staffers, this is what we're going to do with faith. But she let me carve out black faith just for myself. Meanwhile, she was making decisions for the evangelicals to advance their agenda.
So when you see them say nothing, you see them not even decry him when he makes the Charlottesville comment, are they, in essence, co-signing and saying, fine, as long as you give us right-wing conservative judges, you can do whatever you want?
They have made that agreement. In fact, in the ministers' meeting that we got blasted for having, I don't remember the...
Oh, no, I remember when Pastor Parsons couldn't answer any of my questions as to what was discussed in the meeting.
In the ministers' meeting, they basically made a pact that they would hand over their pulpits so that Donald Trump could advance his political agenda as long as he gave them what they wanted. Every single element of their evangelical agenda will be delivered in this administration.
You write in the book about not protecting or need to protect yourself. We now know that you recorded meetings, a number of different things. When did you start that? Was there something where you said, you know what, I don't trust what's going on here. I need to get these folks on tape. Was it from the outset? Or was there something that actually happened where you said, I got to do this?
Well, let's just take, for example, the black Republicans who keep saying, I never wanted to meet with them, I never wanted to help them. If I didn't have those recordings of calls of them trying to get them to send candidates so that we could recruit them for positions in the agencies and the administration, people would believe that. If I didn't record General Kelly locking me in the Situation Room, threatening me, and telling me that things were going to get ugly for me, and that there could be damage to my reputation, no one would believe me. But that's so important, Roland.
But something has to precipitate that. So, I mean, when I was in Fort Worth, and I knew in Texas it was one-party consent, and if I got called into my editor's office, I could tell based upon the tone, I was like, you know what, I got my tape recorder, let's see how this goes. So was there something that precipitated that where you said, every meeting I go into, I got to record every meeting? Was there a conversation? Did something happen where you say, I better protect my back, and the way I'm going to do this is with a recording device?
If you've ever read the book, A Spook That Sat by the Door, you understand that as the only black person in the room, sometimes you're going to hear things that are so shocking that even if you repeat to people, they won't believe it. There were moments where I knew that if I did not cover my back, no one would believe it. More importantly, I would not be able to explain how the decisions were made, how Donald Trump came to the decision to separate parents from their children at the border, or where the genesis of that started. I can't go into much more detail. As you know, Donald Trump has decided to sick his legal team on me. I'm in the middle of an arbitration proceedings with him. But I will say I have no regrets about making those recordings and protecting myself, and we'll use that when we go into the court of law to demonstrate the corruption that I witnessed in the campaign as well as in the White House.
If we were at a dinner party and it was a group of black people and folks said they named black folks who they could not stand, Clarence Thomas probably would be first and your name will come up. Mm-hmm. How does it make you feel when black folks say, you can't invite her to a cookout, we don't want to see her, we don't want to talk to her, she's a traitor? The phrases they use to describe you are vile. How does it make you feel when black folks say that about you?
Well, first and foremost, let's acknowledge that all black people are not a monolith.
Right, right.
When you say black folks, that's not just one collective group, and we do not all participate in groupthink. So there is a large segment of African Americans who support me, who supported me when I was in, who sent encouragement, who do not reduce themselves to calling names and saying things about cookouts and that sort of thing, because I was the woman in the arena. There's this poem about being the person in the arena who knows victory or defeat, but what's worse is the person who doesn't put themselves out there, who's never fought. I'm a soldier. And so when people call me names and lob threats at me, the truth of the matter is, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And I've been in politics for 20 years. If you want to put yourself out there, you've got to be prepared to take the lumps and the bumps, and that's what I did. So if people want to call me names and judge me, that's fine, but I had to make sure that the community that I was meant to represent, that I was in there to represent, was represented when decisions about budget and taxation and housing and policing were made. And if that means that I'm going to be called names or people don't invite me to their cookout, so be it. I'm at the point where I will throw my own cookout because I've earned that through my experience, my education, and the ability to put myself out there and make a difference. And when you're making a difference, you're not going to have everybody agree with you. You're not going to be popular. So what? I put myself out there. I follow the path that God has outlined for me, and I stand firmly in what I did. And the regret that I have is that more African Americans don't get involved in the political process. And you know why they don't? Because they see what happened to me. The reason they're discouraged from running for office or getting into political office, because they see the names that I get called, how people treat me, how you get shunned, and they get discouraged. So I'm going to encourage people that we need you. We need them in the race. We need them involved. We need them in the fall during the midterms. And don't get discouraged by the names of the people or the naysayers, the critics. They're always going to be there. But what we need are people who are brave enough to put themselves out there to be change agents for our community. We need that more than anything.
April Ryan gave an interview. She has a book coming out where she says the Trump administration is trying to destroy her career. The two of you used to be friendly. Wasn't she a bridesmaid or something like that, or was supposed to be in your wedding? Something along those lines. And it is as if it's absolutely oil and water. Yeah. Do you believe this administration is trying to destroy her career? She early on said that you said there was a dossier on her, on me, Pastor Jamal Bryant.
I called you immediately after that, which was ridiculous.
I don't give a damn. Almost like it's public. But that relationship, I take it, it's non-existent.
Let me just say, I have a tremendous amount of respect for her. You may not know this. I met April when I worked in the White House the first time, back in 1998, 99, when she first was starting and I was starting. So we came up through politics. And I'm glad that she wrote a book so she could tell her story. But I think it's important to understand that she had an incredible job to do in a White House that is not friendly to the press in general. They just don't like the press as a whole. And they have been aggressive to her. And I wish her nothing but luck. I don't hold grudges. I really don't. I have moved on. And, you know, the truth of the matter is, you know, she shared some story about me being drug out and all of that. I mean, obviously with me revealing the tape of the moment I walked in the Situation Room to the moment that I get back into my condo, none of that was true. But it's because she was misled and people used her. I think the White House leaked that to her to use her. And I regret that they did that to her because she has an incredible reputation. And I wish her nothing but the best. I truly hold nothing personal because she was just doing her job.
What's next?
What's next is that I am going to be on the front lines to, first of all, leading a resistance so that we can get this man out of office. One of the things that I did was help him get in, and I hope to commit the rest of my time to getting Donald Trump out of office.
And what does that mean? Does that mean you will, if he doesn't get indicted or if he doesn't get impeached or resigns, that mean that you will be out there, whoever runs against him, if a Republican runs against him, if I was the Democrats, that you will be campaigning against him?
Three tiers. One, voter registration is important. Two, educating voters so they can get out. But three, I mean, I think you know, I've talked about in the book that I participated and continue to cooperate with the Mueller investigation so that we can expose the corruption. And I will continue to do that. And I will continue to blow the whistle on the corruption that's happening. That's important. And that's a big part why I'm traveling the country and sharing this message of getting engaged, getting involved, and making sure that you're on the forefront of the change that we have to see.
All right. The book is Unhinged, an insider's account of the Trump White House. Omarosa, Newman. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Roland.
You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it. All right, folks, here to break down today, Mike Flynn in the court. We're joined by legal analyst Monique Presley, Washington, D.C., and we have Yodita Welday, attorney, and she's also a judge, y'all. I don't know what they were thinking in Dallas, but okay. And she says legit, that is real. And she's actually a judge, like a robe and everything, and not bought.
You're talking about Michael Flynn.
And not bought at the store. So shocking. So, all right, let's get right to it. First of all, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Now, a word from one of our Roland Martin Unfiltered partners. You've heard me say it before, and I will say it again. Write down this website, marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. I'm going to tell you why it matters. Legal marijuana has grown to become a $9 billion industry in roughly 6 years. Forbes magazine predicts the market will continue to grow to nearly $50 billion in the next 10 years. So whether you like it or not, legal marijuana is a growing industry, and it is only going to get bigger. Now, if you're an investor, you get it. You look for business models that are easy to understand in industries that are trending up. Our friends at Transatlantic Real Estate made their business very simple. They buy land that supports legal marijuana operations and lease it to high-paying tenants. So you are investing in the landlord of a licensed marijuana farm. Stop working so hard for your money. Let your money start working for you by investing in the legal cannabis industry. You can invest as little as $300 up to $10,000. But you can't wait. This crowdfunding opportunity is only available for a few more days. They say that you either make things happen, watch things happen, or sit around wondering what happened. Don't be the person watching and wondering. Don't let another investment boom get away from you. It's time to make something happen for you, your finances, and your family. And don't forget my pro tip. To be included, you must complete and confirm your application. And be sure to complete the process. Go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game, folks. Do it now before time runs out. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. This black judge was not playing around today, Monique.
No. And all I can really say is this is one of those moments. It reminds me of that scene in Pretty Woman when Julia Roberts goes back after she had been clowned and she walks into the boutique and she's like, "You work on commission, right? Big mistake. Huge." I don't understand what Flynn's lawyers were thinking about when they were in front of the Honorable Emmett G. Sullivan. And they thought that there was going to be some sort of skate, and just because everybody else agreed, when they did that clown memo where they're like, "Oh, but it really was a conspiracy and blah, blah, blah." Listen, this is the same Judge Sullivan who was over the Ted Stevens trial. This is the same Judge Sullivan who a few months ago turned a plane around in midair. He does not suffer fools. I have appeared in front of Judge Sullivan for 2 years in a hotly contested case. He called 4 members of my office to testify while the case was going on. He doesn't play with the government. He does not play with the Justice Department. He doesn't play with, I mean, I'm surprised he didn't try to add the treason count himself. I could see him. I can almost see his hair just kind of standing up on its head. I didn't even have to be in court. I know what happened.
So your D, it was a trip watching this whole thing play out, because this was sort of like in track where somebody walk your ass down. Like, you've got this like huge lead, and then somebody like just straight sucks you up and walks you down. He was sitting there going, so why y'all didn't charge him with treason? And then he was like, you were national security advisor. And he was just, okay, so let's talk about entrapment. Everything that his attorneys were saying, he got entrapped by the FBI. He basically forced him to admit, no, they didn't entrap me. No, I'm not here against my will. He was walking him down step by step, yo, D.
Okay, so here's the infuriating part. When you enter into a plea deal, what you're doing is taking accountability. You can't then say it's because of being entrapped, it's because I was intimidated or coerced. When you take a plea deal, a judge is going to ensure that other than the plea bargain, you're pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty. You weren't intimidated, you weren't coerced. Other than what was promised to you in the plea deal, you are pleading today purely because you are saying, I did it. And to say anything else would force a judge to say, well, then you have to withdraw your plea and set it for trial, because what you're saying is, judge, it's because of this, that, and the other. And so you're essentially saying, I'm not guilty. Set it for trial. Number two, why are people shocked by this judge? One, I think the judges, or the lawyers, like Monique said, they dropped the ball. When you go before a judge, you should already kind of know what this judge is about. You prepare for what the judge's temperament is. Number two, the judge has the ultimate say, even if you have a plea bargain. They have the ultimate say. So what you should prepare for is for it to go either way. So I'm not sure why people are shocked. Maybe the things he was saying, cool. He was saying that Michael Flynn was basically a POS because of what he did. That's fact. I'm not surprised that he said it. It is fact. So for him to admonish him and tell him that he was wrong is quite normal. Now, him adding the whole treason part might have been inflammatory, but I don't see anything shocking by what the judge did. So,
Monet, here's what I love. I can sort of visualize in the courtroom when a judge was sort of leaning. But okay. I'm gonna now visualize Roland's courtroom, and so this is, I'm the judge, and you leaning back, you going, so y'all thought y'all were gonna mosey y'all ass up in here, and you thought, since the prosecution recommended no jail time for you, that I was going to go ahead and go along with that bullshit. Okay. All right. And so he walked him down, and he basically said to him, Monique, you sure you finished cooperating with the federal authorities? He basically was saying to him, I would advise you to spill everything you really know, because I'm going to send your ass to jail. So unless they come back to me that you spilled a whole lot more, guess what? I'm going to send you to jail right now. And that's why he asked him, do you want me to, suspend the sentencing so you can finish cooperating with the feds? That's just the sense that I got, Monique.
It wasn't a sense. He didn't basically do it. He did it. He asked him 3 separate times. First, it's my understanding, he asked him multiple times, are you sure that you want to enter this plea? And that's basically, as long as they've been discussing this, Flynn had already allocated a lot of things that already happened where all of this should have been pro forma. But again, because, and I hate blaming lawyers, but because these high post lawyers, it's hubris, it's arrogance. Government attorneys in front of Judge Sullivan never would have done something like that, because they know whatever it is you think you're coming in here to do, you're in my room now, and whatever it is I decide to do is what goes. And so he asked 3 different times, maybe you want to delay this. Maybe you're not finished cooperating. Maybe, and by the 3rd time, apparently the lawyers got the hint, asked for a break, went to revamp, came up with that very nice letter. But see, why would they have done what they did? And see, here's the thing. It's not just that they sent in that hellish memo. It's that they forced Mueller's hand, because then they had to check him and push back. Like, now, wait a minute. Yeah, he cooperated, but nobody was coerced. He knew he was lying. And again, Sullivan, former prosecutor, former Superior Court DC judge, former Court of Appeals judge, now federal judge. Please. He takes this very, very seriously, and they got in front of the wrong black man today. That's
and your D, final one on this. Again, I think the way the conversation went, his lawyer was like, say, Mike, everything we told you before, don't none of that count. So whatever you holding back, player, I'm going to need you to reveal everything to the feds, because this man going to send your ass to prison. You and your 3 stars. He going to send you to jail. I'm just letting you know. I mean, it was amazing reading the tweets of the people who were in us, the people who were, of course, in social media, as I was reading the tweets, and it was just like going one by one. I was going, woo, dog, you are in some serious trouble. They had to recalibrate quickly.
But what happens if he doesn't have anything left, Yodi?
Oh, he got something left.
What happens if he's empty? Because they've said he fully cooperated.
Yodi, go ahead.
Add more. He needs to come back into his memory and pull something. I'm not saying make anything up.
Right.
But his pre-sentencing investigation report has to look different from today's and in March. So I'm still confused as to why his sentencing was scheduled before he fully cooperated. I don't care how many meetings he's had with Mueller. There's still so much to tell. And I do believe that he felt like, I'm going to get my plea today. I'm going to walk out of here and I'm done. And I don't have to really cooperate with the government.
Yo, D and Monique, I'm telling y'all, he didn't fully cooperate. To me, that was their way of saying, you know, you got some more stuff to say.
Who? The judge?
No,
the government was fully satisfied. They were going in there and saying we're not recommending jail.
No.
The judge wasn't. Whatever was redacted, whatever he saw, he wasn't fully satisfied. He said you have 3 more months to make some stuff happen, because I'm telling you right now, if you want to be sentenced today, you're going to be claimed.
That's my point. That's my point. And my point is, he's going to go back and be like, okay, yeah, you know, there's some stuff in the deep recesses that he really didn't want to reveal. He's going to have to turn over some stuff to satisfy his judge.
And I think a lot of people felt like the judge might have done him a favor. I think the judge also did the government a favor, too, because he's saying, you have more. They need more. So both sides, essentially, he's free to walk home and go home and sleep in his bed tonight. And the prosecution, they're just going to have to wait and see whatever he comes up with. Some people may argue that he may be pressured to make something else up. I don't know. You know, the president's calling Cohen a rat when he's, you know, not said a thing about Flynn. And Flynn is actually admitted to lying under oath to FBI. So I don't know what he would call him, but it's going to be funny to see how Trump is going to characterize him in the next several months if he comes up with more things. And now Trump is going to say, oh, well, he's a rat too. So, you know, he's just trying to get out of, you know, going to prison. But it's just going to be interesting to see what this judge does in March.
Well, Monique, I got to say, considering the fact that Trump has appointed basically 90% white male judges to the federal bench, it's just got to be something that this black judge is whooping that behind.
Power to the people. I don't know what to say about it. I've been in front of him a number of times. He is not an unfair judge. He can run hot, and they caught him wrong today. So the one thing they need to do before they come back is pray. Pray that it's not another run hot day. Sometimes he'll go back, he'll think about it, and, you know, it might be better. But he gave them a chance, because it wouldn't have been one of those Cohen things. Today's the day I want my sentence. I don't have anything more to say. I'm not going to fully cooperate. Just give me my time, and I'm going to roll out of here. And then he ended up with 3 years, but at least now he's done.
Okay.
Sullivan was cute.
Mind you, and they could have gone to court today and completely kept quiet, like Monique said, but they had said something in that motion by talking about entrapment. The judge had to address that, because you're coming into court now and you're saying that you want to take this plea deal, but your attorneys just mentioned just the other week that this might not be as clear cut as you guys are trying to make it out to be. Now you're saying that you were coerced in some way. We've got to establish that.
But remember, the FBI, that is law enforcement. And there's nothing, and look, if you're a federal judge, there's nothing to me more offensive to you. And he basically said it. He not basically said it. Here you were, the national security advisor, lying in the White House, working for a foreign government, 3-star general, and you have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to walk into my courtroom and then have your lawyers talk about how, oh, you were entrapped, you didn't know you were lying, you were in the Dominican Republic on vacation, and all that nonsense on Fox News. The judge is like, no. I'm going to make you stand right here and come out your mouth that everything your lawyer said up until now was a damn lie. And Flynn had to, yep, okay, not entrapment. I knew I was lying.
He didn't want him to drop that plea. He said, yes, he knew he lied.
Yes.
Period.
So everybody where's
the lie?
So everybody on Fox News, y'all got to come up with some new stuff, because everything y'all been saying for the past week, Flynn just wiped out in court.
They're saying that he was trapped now. This very second.
Well, guess what? You can't say a man was trapped when the man himself admitting I wasn't trapped. That's how it goes. All right, Monique Presley, Yodita Welde, we appreciate it. Ooh, I can't wait to see the next person who go in front of the brother judge. This is really the people's court.
As long as it's not me, I wore my government blue just in case he's watching.
All right, folks. I certainly hope you enjoyed that legal analysis. Certainly different from what you're hearing on all the rest of these cable networks. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Because guess what? We come back live January 3rd. The blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Hello.
Y'all want some of this? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. There's only one show out here, folks, in the digital world that's focused on you. Because here's the piece. I ain't afraid of Fox News. Come back live January 3rd. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Folks, many of us know Michael Avenatti as the lawyer representing adult film star Stormy Daniels. He is now also seriously running for the Democratic nomination for president. But an interview that he did with Time magazine is causing huge stir on social media, where they quoted him as saying the following: "I think it better to be a white male," talking about in 2020. When you have a white male making the arguments, they carry more weight. Should they carry more weight? Absolutely not. But do they? Yes. Joining us right now via phone is Michael Avenatti. Michael, welcome to Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Thanks for having me. How are you?
Great. First and foremost, this article that ran in Time magazine, when did this interview take place?
For the last.
Okay, Michael, you're breaking up there. Okay, do you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. So when did this interview take place?
So the interview took place over the last few months in various points in time.
So this was a profile being done on you, so there were multiple interviews.
Correct.
Do you recall if the interview was recorded or notes were only taken?
You know, at various points in time, I believe it was recorded, and I believe that, notes were taken at other points in time.
So when they quote you as saying, when it comes to 2020, I think it better be a white male, did you say that or not?
Look, I want to be really clear about this. I was misquoted, and it was taken out of context. If you look at, I've given the same speech about 50 times across this country, 15 different states. I've been really clear about my position as it relates to racism, bigotry, and sexism. And my position is as follows. Too many of my brothers that are white males have taken the easy way out over the years. We haven't stepped up and supported African Americans, minorities, women, etc. We have allowed this fight to be their fight alone, and we have not stepped up and supported them. And I have been consistent across this country. You can go on YouTube. You can look at speech after speech after speech. So when it comes time for the 2020 election, my point is really clear and simple. We need more white males to step up and defend minority groups and people of color, period.
But I'm going to ask you again, as it relates to this particular statement here, that in the context of the 2020 nomination, did you say, or what was, you said take it out of context, what was the context of, I think it better be a white male?
The context was in connection with the 2020 nomination relating to delivering the message concerning racism and bigotry that has been sowed by Donald Trump and others within the Republican Party, period. I think there's a number of people that can win the nomination. I don't think it's a big number. I want to be clear about that. But I do not think it has to be a white male. It could be a woman. It could be a person of color. It could be a Hispanic. It could be a minority. But I think above all else, it's going to have to be somebody that is a fighter that can take the fight to Donald Trump.
So you're saying that when the quote says, I think it better be a white male, are you saying, I just want to be clear, you're saying that within the context of that, you were saying that it needs to be a white male who is talking about issues of race and racism as it relates to Donald Trump?
Well, I mean, I think any number of people can talk about those issues, but my point is as follows. I think that more white males need to call out white males relating to bigotry and racism in the United States. And look, I mean, this is what I believe. I think that too many people that look like me have taken a back seat. They've stood on the sidelines. They've stood against the wall. And they've allowed these ideas of racism and others, or racism and other issues to be the fight of people of color, minorities, and others.
So Michael,
it can't be their it can't be their fight alone.
So explain this. They write, he hastens to add that he wishes it weren't so, but it's undeniable that people listen to white men more than they do others. Henry, go to my iPad, please. It's why he's been successful representing Daniels and immigrant mothers, he says. Quote, when you have a white male making the arguments, they carry more weight, he says. Should they carry more weight? Absolutely not. But do they? Yes. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, let me explain that. No, let me explain that because, again, I want to be really clear about this. That was taken out of context. When you have a white male that calls out other white males for being racist, yes, I think that that's powerful. Absolutely. Be clear. That's what I'm talking about when it refers to when you have a white male step up and make these statements. Absolutely. I think it's important for more white males like myself to call out other white males for being racist. Absolutely. I believe that. I believe that's powerful. I believe that we need more people around the country that look like me to do that. I mean, look, let's be frank. Donald Trump rose to power because he convinced 2/3 of the people that look like me, right? White males, that our success depended on minorities and women and people of color, and our success depended on them being marginalized. That's not right. We need more white males like me to speak out against that.
So I'm going to read this, Michael. This is what I've got the Time Magazine article up, and this is what they wrote. Here's what Avenatti told Time in an interview on June 25th in New York City, before he began publicly considering a presidential run. They say the question was, is there anybody that you like in the Democratic political class? Or do you think the 2020 nominee should be someone from outside politics? Time Magazine says that was the question. They say your answer was, I think it better be a white male. Then they said, really? Then they said, you said 100%. And I don't say that because I want it to have to be a white male. I say that because of just the realities of the situation. I think if the Democratic nominee, anyone other than a white male at the top of the ticket, they're going to lose the election. And so I'm reading, and so as I read this again, and then it says, I'll be willing to bet anything. I feel highly confident in that, and it shouldn't be that way for this election. Question, but just because the electorate is too racist and sexist, they say because of where the electorate lines up and where Trump's strengths lie, I think if you nominate, then they went on. So Time Magazine says they're standing by their article, and they're saying that your comment about, I think it better be a white male, was a specific response to their question. Are you saying that Time Magazine is wrong?
Look, I've answered the question. I've been very, very clear about this. Look at over 50 speeches I've given across the country. I mean, again, I don't know how I can be more clear in what I've already said. I stand behind everything that I have said. People can go on YouTube. They can look at exactly. No. Let me just finish.
No, go ahead.
They can go on YouTube. They can go on YouTube and look at what I have said consistently. Okay, I am confident that your viewers, listeners, etc., agree with what I'm saying. More white guys need to step up and call out white guys. Period. I've been consistent about this.
But Michael, here's the issue though. I'm a journalist. I've been one since I was 14 years old. Time says that this was an interview and exchange back and forth. I don't know if this interview was recorded, so therefore, that way none of us can actually hear the context and the nuance of the conversation. But what Time Magazine has posted on their website, time.com, they have posted what they say is a direct question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. And what I'm asking you is, are you saying...
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I can't comment on it.
Okay,
wait a minute.
No, hold on, Michael. I'm going to finish my question. I'm going to finish my comment. Then you can go ahead and answer. So, again, and I'll send you the link so you can actually see it as well, and that's fine. But what if you say that they got this wrong, then what are you going to do next? Are you going to ask them to produce the recording?
Look, I haven't decided what I'm going to do next. But what I've done next is you asked me to come on your show.
Yes.
I did not hesitate. I immediately said I would come on your show. I'd be happy to answer your questions, which I am answering. I'm answering your questions.
Right.
So look, go back and look what I've said consistently for the last 4 or 5 months. Okay. The bottom line here is, and again, I think I gave the first speech in July or June of this year. And I've given the same speech across the country. I've said the same thing. I have called out other white males relating to the fact that they've taken the easy way out and have not done what they should do in connection with calling out racism, bigotry, and sexism across this country.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. I would love for Time Magazine, if you say that you were taking, because look, I totally understand. I've seen folks who have been taken out of context. I've also seen people who said they were taken out of context. They actually were in context. I would hope that Time Magazine would release a recording of the conversation. I've sent via DM to you the link of their actual story so you can actually see what they have posted on their website. And then hopefully this will be clarified and cleared up.
Let me ask you a couple questions.
Yes.
Let me ask you a couple questions. Who do you think is best positioned to beat Donald Trump in 2020, assuming the economy stays where it is?
Sure. First of all, right now, there's no one person you can argue right now who's best positioned, because if you go back to 2007,
Michael, I'm answering. The likely candidate.
Michael, here's the deal. I'm answering your question. In 2007, in February 2007, in Springfield, Illinois, when I was there freezing my butt off when Obama announced he was running for president, the reality is from February through August of 2007, he was 20 points down to Hillary Clinton. He was down among African Americans. Everything changed for him at a debate in Iowa when she screwed up the question about illegal immigrants getting driver's licenses. The entire race changed. The reality is this here, and I've been saying this for 2 years. To get the best candidate, they have to run. Who do I think is going to be there? I do believe Vice President Joe Biden. I know a former Attorney General Eric Holder is looking at it. I know Senator Kamala Harris is running. Senator Elizabeth Warren is going to run. Senator Bernie Sanders is going to run. I do believe that potentially you're going to have former New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu also run for president as well. I can't say right now who can beat Donald Trump because they haven't gone.
My question is different. No. Look, let's have an honest discussion.
Go ahead.
My question's different. I want to push back for a minute.
Go ahead.
Let's assume let's assume that it's October 2020, not October 2018. You and I both know who's likely to run. So let's fast forward. It's October 2020. The environment is the same. The economy is the same. I'd like you to tell me right now who is the best person that has the best opportunity to beat Donald Trump of the likely candidates, and we can include everybody you just stated.
Here's why you can't answer that question and why it makes no sense. Because the two top Republicans who they said stood the best chance of beating Hillary Clinton were Tim Pawlenty, governor of Minnesota, and Scott Walker, governor of Wisconsin. And guess who were the first two candidates to drop out? Tim Pawlenty and Scott Walker. This is what I know, Michael, and I've been doing politics my whole life. The rigors of a campaign are different than sitting here looking at a sheet of paper. A person can give a speech in 2018, and oh my God, they sound great, they sound wonderful, they're a fighter, but when they get in the ring, they get their behinds kicked. I can tell you, Michael, that Fred Thompson had all the attributes. Another Ronald Reagan. Tall, strong senator from Tennessee. He ran one of the sorriest campaigns in history. And so the question really can't be, Michael, I'm here. So the question, the reason the question can't be answered is because until a person goes through the rigors of a campaign, then you never see how they fare under the stress and stand the test of that sort of rigorous deal. Everybody looks great right now. Like Mike Tyson said, Michael, everybody got a game plan until they get hit first.
No. Listen, I don't disagree with that. All I'm saying is, let's just assume that everything was the same in 2020 as it is right now. I want you to tell me your pick. Tell me the person, please. Tell me the person that you think has the best shot right now.
Michael, and I'm going to say to you again, and I gave you 3 names already, who all the people, including me, I thought Scott Walker, out of all the Republicans, stood the best chance in October of 2015 of running against Hillary Clinton. He was the second one to drop out after Tim Pawlenty. So that's my point. So it doesn't make sense saying, who do I think today, until the person goes through the rigors. Michael, I've hired people who I thought could be an anchor. I hired one, and you know what? On paper, she was great. In the interview, she was awesome. Everybody loved her. You know what happened the first day she went on the air? She sucked. We took her off 5 days later.
No, I hear you, and I think you make a good point.
So until you go through the fight, you don't know. So all I'm saying is you got to go through the battle to see who can survive the war.
Look, and you know what? I don't disagree with that, but here's my point, okay? There's a lot of people that are going to run, and they'd make a great president, and they'd make a far better president than I would, but they've got no shot of beating Donald Trump.
Well, actually,
and if the Democrats nominate,
Michael, you're actually wrong, because if you study the math, I understand your point, but Michael, I'll give you an example. Donald Trump won Florida in 2016, correct?
Correct.
There's a ballot initiative in Florida that's likely to get passed that's gonna give voting rights to 1.6 million formerly incarcerated. If that initiative passes on November 6th, Florida is completely changed. Donald Trump cannot go into Florida yelling law and order, because that means 1.6 million eligible people right now living will have the right to vote. Florida could flip overnight if a Democrat runs a strong criminal justice reform plan. If they even pick up 25% of those 1.6 million, they destroy the Republicans. So Florida,
let me tell you something. From your lips to God's ears, I hope you're 100% right. I think that would be a phenomenal thing for Democrats.
It's
There's
polling
no
at
question about it.
72% right now.
I will just tell you, I've spent a lot of time traveling around the country. I've spent a lot of time in a lot of key electoral states over the last 2 to 3 months. This guy, unfortunately, Donald Trump, is not to be underestimated.
I agree.
And whatever the Democrats do, look, whatever the Democrats do, whether it's someone of color, whether it's Hispanic, whether it's somebody that's white, whether it's male, whether it's female, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, They have to nominate somebody that has the best shot of beating Donald Trump. That's all I'm saying.
Last thing, Michael, and I'm just saying, and the reason I reached out to you, I know you've been traveling around the country, but this story right here, Michael, is a problem. Right now, and when I say it's a problem, there's no group. Republicans told me that with Reince Priebus sitting right next to me, saying that there's no group that hates Republicans more than black women. And this comment, Michael, the Times reporting is not going to go over well with black women. And all I'm saying,
well, let me just say something.
I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know.
And look, and I'm just telling you something. When I travel around the country, okay, African men and women are very, very supportive of my potential candidacy. And let me tell you why. Because I'm a fighter. And because they want a fighter, because they've had to fight for every damn thing they've ever had in their lifetime. So I have to tell you,
hey, Michael,
across this country, wait a minute, let me just finish. Across this country, I have enjoyed and been honored and humbled by the amount of success, the amount of support that I've had among African American men and women.
Michael, I hear you, but I want you to follow me. I've run 3 black newspapers. This is my 11th black media experience. Many people call me the voice of black America. And I'm telling you right now, this Time article is going to be a problem for you, especially Senator Kamala Harris, Senator Cory Booker, Deval Patrick, former governor of Massachusetts, and a former Attorney General Eric Holder, all considering running. And the reason I want you to come on to explain this, because either Time magazine is going to have to release the recording, they're standing by it, but I'm just letting you know, this is not going to go over well with black people. And
I'm not. Look.
I'm just letting you know. And guess what? You can't even get close to the nomination without black people. Ask Senator Bernie Sanders when he ignored black people for 6 months.
Whoa. Have I ever suggested otherwise?
No. What I'm saying is, when you said, who do you think is going to be the person to beat Donald Trump? We need a fighter. Let's be honest. You want to be that guy. You do. And
I haven't decided. Listen. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. I've been really clear about this. My life would be a lot easier if I did not do this. Okay.
I understand.
Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what I believe. Okay. In 2020, we have an enormous amount at stake in this nation. We're talking about a fight for the republic. The Democrats can't screw this up.
I agree.
Democrats better nominate. The Democrats better nominate somebody that can beat Donald Trump. Period. That is the absolute goal. You don't get a chance to govern unless you win.
I agree.
Let's be clear about that.
I agree. All I'm saying, Michael, is this is going to be a problem with black folks. And I'm saying, I asked you, what are you going to do next? You should be saying to Time magazine, if they misquoted you, release the recording to show it, because the way people are seeing this is you saying it better be a white man in 2020.
Well, you know what? I disagree, because a lot of African American men and women have reached out to me this afternoon.
Michael, brother, I'm serious. I just want to let you know, between me and you, who knows black people? Michael, I'm just letting you know, bro.
I
know black people, and I know black politics, and I know how things roll. And the reality is, after 8 years of Obama, and black people actually see the potential of another black president, I'm just saying, it's not going to go over well. But go ahead with your final comment, please.
Look, I don't care if it's someone that's black, that's white, that's male or female or Hispanic. I could care less, as long as they can beat Donald Trump.
All right. Michael Avenatti, hope this won't be the last time on Roland Martin Unfiltered. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Because guess what? We come back live January 3rd. The blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Hello.
Y'all want some of this? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. There's only one show out here, folks, in the digital world that's focused on you. Because here's the piece. I ain't afraid of Fox News. Come back live January 3rd. Okay. What the hell is wrong with white women? First, we got the white woman calling the cops on the brother who was trying to barbecue in Oakland. Then we got the white woman calling the cops on the sister who trying to sell some lemonade in the Bay Area. Then we got, I guess some other white women stores acting crazy, but now we got two more ignorant white women, okay? So let's deal with the first one, in New York, all right? So this crazy white woman's in the store, okay? A woman comes by with her son and daughter. She accuses this 8-year-old boy of groping her flat behind. Watch surveillance tape, y'all.
No, I want the cops here right now. No, I'll talk to you. I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to stay right here. Yeah.
Oh, man.
The cops are right down the block. I can go fight.
What happened?
White lady calls the cops on a black lady. I get it. Yeah, they're videotaping.
Mentally ill.
Yeah.
Mentally
Listen,
ill?
I don't care. Listen, you remember me, right? From school, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Her son grabbed my ass.
Here, she said
And
that
she
my son
decided
touched
to
her ass.
yell
I'm
at
gonna stay here. So I'm gonna stay right here.
There are security cameras.
Let me go. Don't
Your
say
son
no
got
way.
that?
Go home.
Let's make it go
Go
viral.
home. No. Let me go.
No, not her.
No.
Come on. She's calling police.
All right, y'all. So Cornerstone, Caroline. Y'all saw the video right there? Now, first of all, how dumb is she? The boy walked past. Anybody could see it was the backpack. No, she's sitting here, said he groped her behind. And then you saw her make this little hand gesture. I guess the mama said something. And then, again, like, what the hell is she doing? What? So she's grabbing her crotch to the mama. Now, look right here. Little black boy, not even looking at her, walk by. Backpack, she hunched over the desk like she's snorting something. The backpack brushes against her behind. And she said he groped. What? First of all, y'all, they had the video where she had to go back in the store, apologize. Boy, they were cussing out Cornerstone Caroline. She apologized. She said, no, I'm not a racist. But other people say she has done this to many other people as well. Okay? So let me go to the second crazy white woman for today. All right? We're going to go to St. Louis. All right? This brother is trying to walk into his apartment in St. Louis. But no, Hillary Brooke Muller, she like, damn that. You ain't getting in here, Darion Tolls. You going to have to pay the toll, which means you got to get by me, the white woman. Press play.
Please move, ma'am.
I can. Do you live here?
Yeah, answer that question. Excuse me.
I'm sorry. The keypad is right there.
I understand that, ma'am.
You can film me. That's
okay,
fine.
I understand, ma'am, but you're blocking me.
Into my building.
Okay, and it's my building as well, so I need you to get out my way.
Okay, what unit?
I don't need to say that information. So excuse me, ma'am.
I'm uncomfortable.
Okay, you can be uncomfortable. That's your discretion. You're uncomfortable because you're you. I need you to move out my way, please.
No.
Ma'am, please stop touching me.
I'm not touching you.
You just was previously before.
I'm not touching you at all.
So I'm going to step in.
I'm not touching you, and I'm not in any way doing anything outside of letting my dog go to the bathroom.
Okay, and I live here and you're blocking the door.
What unit?
I don't need to tell you that. What unit do you live in?
307.
Okay, great. I'm on the 4th floor. Excuse me.
No. You don't have a key fob. You are... No.
No.
If you have that, then okay.
Ma'am, you're not security. You're not the property manager. You're not Mike Herman.
No, but I live here.
Okay, and I live here too. You're not Mike Herman. You're not Rick.
I don't like the fact you have your phone in my face.
Okay, I don't like the fact that you're blocking me for where I pay.
All I'm asking is what unit?
But you're not. I don't need to tell you that information, ma'am.
If you want to come into my building.
It's not your building. You're not the owner. You pay rent.
Sir, you walked up on a street.
Yes, and I've already buzzed in. I've already
you
used
did
my...
not.
Okay, man, it does not even matter. Can you get out of my way?
No. Can you show me the key fob into this building?
I'm not showing you anything. And the second, ma'am, I'm bound to walk through where I live at, so...
No.
Okay.
Can you show me the key fob into this? No.
Excuse me.
No.
Excuse me.
Are you kidding me?
police, whatever you want to do.
Where are you going? Do you have a key fob that looks like this? You can film all you want. I'm not being rude. I'm not being disrespectful. You walked into a building that I was taking my dog out and pushed your way in. No. Who are you going up to the fourth floor to see? No, I want to know who you're going to see.
So now you gotta follow me.
I am.
Why?
Because I would like to know who's friends and why you're here.
Because I live here.
And if you do, then I would like to meet you because you're a neighbor. And
You didn't start off on a good note. I don't want to do no dealings with you. I'm going to my house. I'm going to my house where I live at, where I pay.
I would like to introduce myself then as a neighbor. I would like to introduce myself.
I do not want to speak with you. Please stop following me. I'm going to call the cops for harassment. That's my next step. You just follow me all the way to my door.
As a place.
And you see my keys in the door. That is so, that.
As a record, I just want to say hi.
Ma'am,
What is your name?
Ma'am, you just, no. Have a good night, ma'am. Don't ever do that again. You look pretty stupid on video. Have a nice night. And my name is Mr. Tolles. Thank you.
Wow. The patience of that black man. Cause see, I'm just letting y'all know, the words that would have filtered out of my mouth would have likely been bleep 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 bleep.
30 seconds.
These white women have lost their damn mind.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. And I know you are men, so you have to, you have a special need for restraint. I'm sort of self-imposed.
Yeah, because you know you can't holler at white women.
Exactly.
You can't be a black man hollering at a white woman.
Saying, she better be glad it wasn't a sister, because her ass would have been halfway through that floor. I'm telling you, I can't imagine having that much patience with that level of ridiculousness and racism.
Talk way too long.
That's honestly, that conversation would not have lasted that long.
But this is the thing. And what's crazy is white folks have gotten really emboldened. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, and so now we can say what's causing it, but Malik, I don't understand. It's them. It's the white boy who asked the black woman about her pool pass, lost his job. It's the white boy in Ohio, the electrical company, who was hollering nigga, nigga, nigga. He lost his job. His whole business went bankrupt. And so what kills me is, I don't care if you keep recording. Okay. Heifer, you broke now because you ain't got a job.
No, I mean, I can't make any excuses for that or any of the videos that we've seen in the past couple of years. I honestly can't make any excuses of it. You know, I can say as a black conservative, this is something that I experienced most recently during our second-year anniversary here at our second-year anniversary that we had on Friday, where I got on the elevator and the lady asked, she said, well, what are you guys doing here? And I said, oh, well, this is our second-year anniversary, the Black Conservative Federation. And she said, conservative? And I said, yes. And she said, conservative, as in you're a Republican? And I said, yes. She said, oh, I'm gonna barf. Let me get off the elevator. And she got off the next, on the next stop floor in the elevator. And I'm just sitting here like, wow, good thing that I was who I am. Because if she had had that same interaction with someone else, I mean, she literally said, oh God, I'm gonna barf.
Well, at least she ain't walking to your apartment.
I know.
Michael,
I don't know what's going on.
What kills me again is if you look at story after story, it's these white folk who will call the cops like they dial information.
311.
You know what was really, Roland, creepy about that too? When she was following him it reminded me of the fact pattern of Trayvon Martin,
Mm-hmm.
where he was walking and the person
Right.
was following him
Right.
and then got into the confrontation. And that's what this empowerment of white folks relative to black men is seriously problematic. And the leader of our country, I don't call him by his name, number 45, is not doing anything to help the problem.
And here's the other thing that you have here. I mean, you also have the story of the white man in Florida, where you get the students who had Florida A&M coming to the building, who was carrying a gun.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, he pulls it out and flashes it. Oh, it slipped out. No. And see, the problem, this is the real problem here, okay? One of these white folks gonna get blown away. Because see, the reality is this here. That white woman following that brother, she is following to his apartment. She is stalking him.
Yeah.
Okay? You show that video in reverse, and that is a black man following a white woman to her apartment. All of a sudden, if she got concealed and carried, and all of a sudden she blow him away, they're gonna say, that's self-defense.
And hope he's not in Florida.
I mean, this is a white woman blocking the door, standing in the way. And frankly, he had
George Wallace.
He had every right to bust her in the throat. I'm sorry. I mean, brother, like, damn it, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I go to the bathroom, and your white ass standing here blocking me from walking to the door. I'm sorry. And see, for all the white folks out there, I'm trying to let y'all know, this ain't the generation of black people who gonna kneel down and pray for y'all.
No.
I'm letting y'all know. This is a whole different generation. And that brother was real calm, but these things keep happening, and I'm telling you, I'm warning all y'all white people, this thing is going to escalate when somebody gonna bust a cap in one of y'all asses, and it's gonna be like, oh my God, what happened? If you keep detaining black people and calling cops on black people, either they gonna get shot or they gonna call the cops, and the cops gonna end up shooting one of these black folks because some fool sitting here lost their mind.
And the thing is, it will keep on happening because there's no consequence. You know, this happens. There should be some consequence for wasting the time and the resources that are associated for calling the police for frivolous reasons. And if you look at what happened with the little boy again, you know, his mother, further on in that tape, his mother came back and laid her out. Now, although she apologized finally, belatedly, after she got caught lying on this little boy, she now has the nerve to call for charges against the mother for defending her son. I mean, she's lucky, once again, that she didn't get knocked out. You know, because this is not the moment where people are ready to sit here and say, you can sit here and attack us, attack our children, stalk us, and expect nothing to happen in return.
Now, of course, Hillary Brooke Muller, who was a realtor at Tribeca Luxury Apartments, she ain't a realtor no more. She might be looking for a security job.
Consequences.
Exactly.
Consequences.
And guess what? The company she worked for is a minority-owned company. They released this statement, quote, we are proud of this fact and do not and never will stand for racism or racial profiling at our company. She's no longer employed. And that's the way it should go. I'm telling you, Michael, you talked about earlier having the video. Every single one of these white folk who lose their mind also lose their job. So here's the deal. If y'all want to keep acting the fool, I ain't got no problem with the black unemployment rate going lower, with y'all losing y'all jobs, because if you keep tripping, and we gonna keep playing the videos, and we gonna happy to see y'all get fired every single time.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm down with it.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Of course, this is also one of the reasons. First of all, that video told 5 million views on Facebook. Wow. How many folks have seen it?
Wow.
So, Hillary, we all know. Matter of fact, you know what? It's probably going to be a Dr. Phil show later on. He's going to get all them white folks together on one show. And like, you got fired, you got fired, you got fired, you got fired, you got fired. And that should be like, what the hell wrong with y'all? That should be the name of that episode. What the hell were y'all thinking? And so I'm looking forward to that, Dr. Phil. Go ahead and pull all them on the show. I just love to see all of them commiserate together in a focus group of crazy, broke, no having job white people. I'm looking forward to it. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Now, a word from one of our Roland Martin Unfiltered partners. You've heard me say it before, and I will say it again. Write down this website, marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. I'm going to tell you why it matters. Legal marijuana has grown to become a $9 billion industry in roughly 6 years. Forbes magazine predicts the market will continue to grow to nearly $50 billion in the next 10 years. So whether you like it or not, legal marijuana is a growing industry, and it is only going to get bigger. Now, if you're an investor, you get it. You look for business models that are easy to understand in industries that are trending up. Our friends at Transatlantic Real Estate made their business very simple. They buy land that supports legal marijuana operations and lease it to high-paying tenants. So you are investing in the landlord of a licensed marijuana farm. Stop working so hard for your money. Let your money start working for you by investing in the legal cannabis industry. You can invest as little as $300 up to $10,000. But you can't wait. This crowdfunding opportunity is only available for a few more days. They say that you either make things happen, watch things happen, or sit around wondering what happened. Don't be the person watching and wondering. Don't let another investment boom get away from you. It's time to make something happen for you, your finances, and your family. And don't forget my pro tip. To be included, you must complete and confirm your application. And be sure to complete the process. Go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game, folks. Do it now before time runs out. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.